Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 80 for the week of, October 22nd, 2012. I'm Ryan Higgins, and I'm joined by a lovely cast of talented individuals, including...
I hate his adjectives.
Including...
Barack Sager.
This guy down here on the end here.
Toby.
And this guy.
Charlie.
And special returning guest, Bryce. Say hello.
It's Marvelous Bryce.
Marvelous Bryce? That's your,
Without
that's your
Marvel?
name?
Marvelous.
So it's Marvel L-E-S-S?
No,
Marvel.
Marvelous.
No,
Poor choice
I have
of
no
word.
clever comeback, but
See, if you want to use the Marvel way of... You have to have something that starts with B, right? So the... it's like Smilin'
BB.
It's like Smilin' Stan and King Kirby, you know, so...
The Bodacious Bryce.
The Bodacious Bryce.
I'm pretty sure he called his fans Marvelous
There you
frequently.
go. Okay.
The best Bryce.
The best
It's
Bryce.
O-U-S, not L-E-S-S.
Yes.
All I heard was Marvel less.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
guys
you,
would like that.
emphasized the Marvel.
Yeah.
And then said less.
Yeah.
I was just trying to emphasize Marvel.
Well, let's... Omar is going to be gone for about a month.
Until November.
Yeah, he's gone for a while, so Bryce may be filling in here once or twice. Get some Marvel love going here. Bryce, we're just making fun of you. We have plenty of Marvel love. Well,
That's a lie.
3 of the 4 people sitting at this table have some Marvel love. So,
I think I'm excluded in that.
So if he's counting you, that means 2 of the regular people.
no, excluding him. We all know who the hater is here. We all know. All right, but we're going to continue with a bunch of stuff we didn't get to talk about last week. But I do have a few questions on Twitter here. We're going to do a few of these real quick.
Twitter questions.
Of course, the first question comes from Colin Sandberg, who asks thoughts on our foreign policy since the debate is going on tonight. Of course, my reply was clearly the U.S. must stop all trade with Latveria. So I think that's the only answer to that. No, but on a more serious, meaning an extremely less serious question.
Well, have we opened up to Malkovia yet?
No, someone else actually put that too. That was funny.
Oh, nice.
Larry from Larry's Comics. I think we all know Larry here. Good question for him. Old school Superman or new? Specifically asking like New 52 Superman or old school. Well, he's got a few. He's got a few here. Hold on. Who put the scars on Cal's back? I don't know if you guys have seen the artwork from the new issue by what's the guy?
Rocafort.
Yeah, Kenneth Rocafort. This guy's a beast too.
I
He's
can,
great.
I can tell you who.
And will Scott Snyder do for Superman what he did for Batman? So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Old school Superman or new school Superman?
Old.
And that's not really much of a question, is it? No. We just don't have enough of the new one. But actually, you know what? There's something I didn't even put on the list, but I mentioned this real quick. Apparently in Superman 13 that comes out this week, right?
Yes,
he quit the Daily Planet. So he's like, I'm done. I'm going to go start a blog, like a news blog.
A news
and
blog?
Him and Cat Grant are like, they walk out of the Daily Planet.
All Jerry Maguire style.
That's...
Okay.
Someone was funny. I saw a great...
Honestly, I didn't read the article, but I thought he was going to be like a fisherman and something that kind of mirrored the trailer and the new Superman trailer.
Well, someone on Twitter was like, "Oh, it would have been a lot more. It would have been a lot better if he got laid off because it'd be a little more accurate." But,
that would have actually been kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, they tried to switch up Superman a little bit, making the Daily Planet more like internet savvy and doing all the stuff that wasn't just a newspaper. But him leaving, you know what? Honestly, that's cool. That's fine. If they want to do something different with him,
my question though is he an American citizen still or?
Hey,
He's a goddamn alien.
I thought that they were relaunching the book again because it's awful, and then they kind of retweaked it, and then it was still awful. And
they retweaked it a bit with the annual, and now the new creative team is coming on, who is Scott Lobdell, who has actually been doing... I was kind of worried when he came on because I did not like his Marvel stuff. Big X-Men guy, So your favorite. Bryce. I think he was around when Maggot was created and all that stuff.
Maggot gets not enough love.
Was that Scott Lobdell? I think it was.
What?
Maggot?
That was like one of the best X-Men arcs ever, though.
Oh, gee, really? Maggot?
The Gambit's secret, like, reveal.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
Joe Mad's heyday.
Yeah,
that was an amazing era.
Trial of Gambit.
And then, Maggot. So, what can you do?
Oh, wait. And then there's Marrow.
Yeah, that's another winner.
And Cecilia Reyes.
Yeah.
Out of all 4 of those, she's like the most popular one left over.
Yeah, the only one left over. I just don't think. I mean, you can't compare Eddie to history with the new Superman, but I like what they're trying to do with this. So who fucked up Superman's back
Wonder
with
Woman.
all those scars?
Wonder Woman.
It's got to be Doomsday. All right.
No, it's Wonder Woman. She just
they've now said a few times like, hey, Doomsday, yeah, he died. Death of Superman happened.
When have they said that?
Did?
Yeah, they said
when.
They've
So
said in
Superman
panels
went
and
old
stuff.
and then he went young again?
No, I just think they've
panels?
Yeah, they've said that happened. That some major events still happened. So things like Death of Superman still happened.
Well,
Okay.
I still think Wonder Woman
Makes
scratching
me
his
even
back
wanna
up
read it
during
less.
some coitus.
well, I'm just having the fun of going timeline-wise. I'm hoping they address that actually in books rather than in panels so they can change their mind in
Well,
6 months.
of
Well, if I had to guess, I would say Dark
Darkseid.
yeah, also.
Well, there were like
Well,
those,
Darkseid did grab him in the
Or
Justice League
Doomsday.
origin story.
Right, did you say Doomsday or Darkseid?
Doomsday.
He said Doomsday.
Yeah, I would say Doomsday, sorry. That's what I meant.
Oh, Darkseid works too.
Yeah,
No,
well, I just kind of agree, I guess.
No.
Darkseid's a little
If
more...
there's scratches,
No, it's like this big giant like.
Well, yeah, it looks like he got a big gash in his back.
I'm
That's some
going with,
hardcore thing with Wonder Woman's doing.
Yeah, Wonder
Yeah,
Woman
that's what I'm
or Dark, I'm sorry,
Wonder
Doomsday.
Woman freaking ripping him apart, licking, blah, 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 blah.
Well, what
I don't
about-
know. He just... everything they've shown with Superman so far... I can't even imagine an event like Doomsday with the current Superman because he just hasn't come across beloved enough. If
I keep imagining that scene from Avengers where Hulk smashes Loki over, but just replacing those characters. Puny Superman.
Well, what about Scott Snyder on Superman? Are we gonna? Is this going to be the Superman?
Yes.
We've waited for.
Yes.
well, it's...
Is this the Superman
I'm
we
prepared
deserve?
to say that it is going to be
I
the
don't think
best
it's-
Superman of the New 52 currently.
I don't think, I don't think it's going to be the
Scott
Superman.
Snyder will do what Grant Morrison could not.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I mean, it'll be good, but Morrison. So,
Look,
I'm
here's
It
what
will
just
be
saying.
the best Superman we've gotten thus far in the New
Yeah,
52.
in a long, long time, I think, too.
I'm
just
just-
because, Snyder is on top of his game, and he's having already, you can know by following him on Twitter, he's already having a lot of fun doing this. So, someone is into it, someone is good at doing what he's doing, and he wants to do it, then I think it's going to be good. It's just kind of
And
my view on it.
I've gotten the impression that he already has a lot of love for the character, so it's not something being forced upon him or anything.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question from me.
From you. All right.
With Jeff Johns now taking on a Brian Michael Bendis style role at DC, basically writing Justice League and Justice League of America. Snyder doing Superman and Batman. Have we now approached another Marvel-like situation where really 2 or 3 guys are running the company? DC's been accused of this in the past, but I think Marvel has been a much worse offender of that throughout the years. But between Bendis, Mark Miller, and who else was doing it seemed like every other book on the shelf. It switched. It has switched now. It is not like it used to be. But there was a couple years there where Bendis, Miller, and not Warren Ellis. There was someone else, but they must have written 15 of the top 25 books for Marvel. They were writing everything at the same time.
And now they replaced Miller with Remender.
Yeah,
I only because of your Marvel hate, but I
fine
can't
with
deny
me.
that that's not kind of coming true again.
That's fine with me.
Is it
Well-
Millard that's in charge of the Fox Marvel movies right now?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
For me, I see where you're going with it, but I see it in sort of a different way right now, just because a lot of the tried and trues that sort of DC have left recently between sort of Morrison taking a step back and Winnick taking a step back. And I mean, we've been seeing a lot of this recently, and I haven't really seen anybody else stepping up to sort of fill those holes currently. So yeah, I can't argue with that, especially since I get the impression that there are just certain creators that at this point, if they want to do a story arc that crosses over into other people's books, those books
Have to take it.
Yeah.
Got a question here from David who asks, New 52 and Marvel Now have me wondering, what are the best and worst costume redesigns of all time?
Power Girl, worst costume design ever.
I knew you were going to go there
That's
first.
okay. They rip it off every issue.
Yeah, every issue her clothes get ripped off.
Doesn't matter. That's like the ugliest design ever. What the hell?
That's
were
why they
thinking?
rip it off.
It doesn't matter. It's the design is ugly
That's
as hell.
the joke.
Okay, I know. Bryce is going to agree with me here. Cyclops' kind of penis head from the last handful of years versus the wild and free 90s hairstyle.
Wild and free 90s.
Come on.
I love the wild and free.
Yes! I don't like this new Cyclops head it looks like a giant penis has been running around for the last 5 years.
Like the cinematic Captain America?
Yeah, that to me isn't as bad. That doesn't bother me.
I still think he's Mr. Dildo Man in the Avengers movie.
Yeah, I think that Cap's a much worse offender. I don't know what your penis looks like, Ryan. Cyclops' head. It's just
what kind of wrinkles is your penis shooting out?
I'm just saying that Cyclops is. I've not liked his more recent designs.
No, it started with Whedon, and they're all, he was trying to take it back, and they're all paying homage and keeping that going.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's probably also a collective move away from the 90s by creative teams and readers alike.
But now Toby is going to tell me one of his favorite redesigns is the new Gambit look. When how are you not all about the brown trench coat and bow staff, man? That seems like, how do you get away from that? That's Gambit.
Gambit is Gambit. He is cool no matter what.
He's like, he's just walking around like normal clothes now.
Have you read the book? Because the book is badass. That's how you get away with it.
I read the first two. It was okay. Yeah.
I'm liking
See, to me, when it comes to characters like that, yes, I love the old look of Gambit, but the new look is working too. Just because they change something doesn't mean you have to be like, no, they ruined everything.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. Gambit feels and reads really well, so who cares if he's not wearing the trench coat?
Plus, even in like old books, he'd dress up occasionally, and like he wasn't
he had his
always
motorcycle look.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what book has maybe my two least favorite designs of all time, and that was the Volume 2 New Warriors book, where they redesigned both Nova and Speedball into possibly the worst costumes I've ever seen in my life, to the point of they got so many complaints that about halfway through the series, they actually had one of the characters come into the book and tell Nova that he had to go back to his old costume because it was like against the code of the Nova Corps because they're all supposed to be similar. And they were like, yeah, okay, guys, from an editorial, like, we heard you. You don't like his costume, so we're switching it back.
Wait, I thought the question was for New 52 redesigns or
no, just
overall?
In general.
Oh, in general. Like, even over the years.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot.
Seems the trend is we're all lamenting the loss of the 90s costumes.
Yes.
Is that what I'm picking up?
Yes.
Well,
yes, that was definitely the best era.
I'm not a big fan of the new Miss Marvel / Captain Marvel.
I don't like that either.
Put that thing around your waist.
Captain.
That little sash.
The little sash.
Wait, which one?
The Miss Marvel recently did the costume redesign and took the name.
Yeah.
No, she's got that like that sash thing going. That's
and
kind
like
of
the part Iron Man tech in her outfit, which she doesn't really need.
I'll tell you who absolutely has the best costumes in the last decade: Green Lanterns. Ever since they changed up those costumes, it made them more dynamic, made them kind of three-dimensional, added all those layers to it, got away from just the cloth look. Fabulous. I love them. They've been amazing.
You didn't like the white boots and the white gloves?
I mean, they're fine. I mean, they're classic. But, I mean, what they've done with the Green Lantern suits and just making all the different designs and really fleshing them out.
What it is it's playing with the ring more. The ring is the wearer now kind of controls what they're going to wear instead of you have this suit-looking thing.
Beyond that, I mean, they really started to sort of highlight the ring as an extension of the person's personality and all that. I mean, one of my favorite things from the John's run of Green Lantern is still during Rebirth when he's sort of like spelling out, well, when John creates constructs, they're like this. When Kyle does it's like this. When Kilowog fires, it sounds like a cannon's. And like, I like all that. I like the fact that they kind of spell out that the ring gives people
personality.
Yeah.
Now what we need is the 90s designs, but the writing of today. then I'll be in comic book heaven.
Well, I was just going to say, some characters just... It's hard for me to hate any Iron Man redesign because that's such a big part of the character is constantly changing and upgrading the costume that I'm always waiting for the next one.
Well, I think, Toby, again, this is not something I really was going to bring up, but I've heard about this right before we started recording, maybe an hour before.
Did I hear about it?
Yeah, because I told you about it, and you were pretty mad.
Oh, I was?
Your good friend Joe Mad...
motherfucker!
quit video games this morning, quit his video game company, and apparently wants to come back and work on Battle Chasers and possibly a Battle Chasers video game or movie or something.
Mother effer.
So
you know what's great?
I don't understand why you're upset about that.
Because they just released that collector's edition hardcover last year.
Yeah, because he spent $200.
That he spent $200 on.
I'm gonna throw that hardcover in his face.
$200 on this incomplete Battle Chasers.
Well, you know what? Actually, I wouldn't be so mad if he does just as much work and releases a volume 2, then I don't have to throw that book in his face.
Well, how long?
Actually, I'm kind of excited for him to.
How long is it going to take to get that volume 2?
Yeah, a couple of years.
Well, it'll be 30. So I'll be like an old man.
Well, we got one more question here. Then we're going to go on and finish all our talk from last week. There was still a ton of stuff from the con we didn't get to. All right, Brock, let's hear your take on this one. Okay.
Oh shit!
This is from Sean. Green Lantern Corps versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which Guardians of the Galaxy?
Either or. See, to me, there's not really a fair fight.
Ryan is going to be like, which Green Lantern Corps?
Well, the Corps is all of them, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Not really a fair fight, but if you go 5-on-5, maybe versus the new team, that's a good fight.
That's tough.
It depends on the lantern.
Yeah.
Bryce is shaking his head. He's like, fuck, a bunch of fucking nerds.
Now, would Groot be able to beat Alan Scott? That's the question I think we need to think about here.
Straight Alan Scott or gay Alan Scott?
I think he's talking about Earth 2 Alan Scott with the whole green energy.
Wood. Well, I meant the original weakness to
you
wood.
Guys really lost me here, man.
Oh.
The original Alan Scott.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Drax versus any 5 Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but you can still put Drax down.
Guardians or Green Lanterns?
I'm sorry, Green Lanterns.
No,
also, I mean, you add in Rocket Raccoon, boom, Groot, done.
Groot.
Gamora, come on. Star-Lord, don't know what he's doing, but I'm sure it's something.
Drax can hold his own, but I mean, if you're going up against the 4 Earth Lanterns and Kilowog or Sinestro or something,
4
that's a
Kilowog.
If you're going up against 4 scrubs.
No, we'll put this out in a HeroClix fight. Omar and I, Guardians wins every time.
Okay, you guys get back to us. If it's an even fight, get back to us. Let us know the results. We're waiting on this.
Well,
okay,
it's just not an even fight. That's sorry.
Make those points.
Sorry, Green Lantern.
You just got to recreate that end of Avengers vs. X-Men number 6.
make those points work. We'll figure it out. All right, so a couple things here. Let's talk comic books here for a few, and then we'll get into the TV conspiracy.
Yes,
since no cartoon conspiracy for a while, Brock. So be happy.
Hallelujah.
Well, we could always talk about Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's still going.
Yeah.
So one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about last week is something I'm very much looking forward to, and that is that David Goyer is returning to DC Comics for a big event book, quote unquote, with Jeff Johns.
That's not really a TV conspiracy yet.
No, we're doing comics, and then we'll get into the TV conspiracy. Yeah. David Goyer, for people that don't know, did a lot of work for DC in the movies, including all 3 of the new Batman movies.
He did some really good and some really bad.
Well, he's been involved in a lot of the movie aspects of the DC universe, as well as some Marvel stuff.
Yes.
Did he work on the Blade movies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence the really bad stuff, because he was in charge of the TV show.
With Jeff Johns.
Was he?
Yeah, Jeff Johns wrote an episode
for the Blade TV show.
Yeah,
he was involved.
I think
I got to go rewatch them now.
He wrote an episode or 2.
They're bad.
It was okay.
I never watched it.
It was okay.
Bad.
It wasn't good. Well, it wasn't
good.
It's
it
on
was
Spike.
Bad.
What do you want?
Well, quick question.
More women if it was on Spike.
Hey.
Was it better than Flash Gordon?
I never got to Flash Gordon.
I watched 2-3 episodes of Flash Gordon, so that show's the worst show I've ever seen in my life. Quote, "There are some plans," said Goyer, "of returning to comics. I have plans to do something with Jeff Johns that's basically been on the drawing books for a while. We're looking for the time to plot it out. DC's holding the space for it. It's an event, and we're doing it a 13-issue thing. Hopefully we'll start plotting it out this fall."
DC's Infinite Gauntlet.
Well, the question is this Trinity War, which is the thing DC's been pitching for a while? Is this something else?
I think this is something else, because Trinity War is set up with what's been going on with bringing Shazam and the backups of Justice League and Phantom Stranger and everything that's been going on.
I tend to think if it was Trinity War, it wouldn't be so ho-hum about trying to figure out when they could, it sounds to me like we're going to be plotting this out soon, and there's a spot that we've been given the go-ahead to do this event.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound to me like it's
standalone.
We're doing this in the next year. It sounds a little too open-ended to be Trinity.
Well, David Goyer, for people if they've not read any, he did the very start of DC's relaunch Justice League series. Justice Society series back in the mid-'90s that Jeff Johns started co-writing with him after a few issues and then took over full-time writing. Easily one of my favorite books for the time, right with Graham Morrison's and Mark Waid's JLA series at the time. I loved that book so much, and I'd be real curious to see what they're going to do in the future. And him returning is I'm super excited for.
I'm just figuring there's got to be a JSA omnibus on the way.
Oh,
there just has to be.
There has to be. They've already got the Teen Titans.
Yep. They already did the Flash. They did the Hawkman.
But it couldn't be one volume.
Oh,
for
no,
Johns.
it wouldn't be
It'd
one
2.
volume.
It'd be at least 2.
I would say 3. Because, I mean, there's like 12.
Dude, they have John's entire Teen Titans volume in one omnibus. That's like 50 issues.
Wait. John's Teen Titans is in an on.
It's coming out,
yeah.
It's like 1,200 pages.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Want.
I'm holding a space on my bookshelf for it right now.
I want. That's my favorite run.
See, look,
After you get it
there's
rebound,
3.
right?
It's really good. So I'll be real curious to see what they're going to be doing with that in the future. Because I mean, David Goyer, he doesn't write enough comics. I'm really happy to see him back.
He does really good TV work too.
Yeah.
Person of Interest with
Yeah, he works on that too, right?
That's a great show.
With Nolan's brother.
Yep.
Excellent show.
All right, Brock. This one's for you. You ready?
Oh, no. Hit me.
Now, we've obviously had a lot of people been able to kind of read some of the preview stuff already. And actually, you read the preview, so let's get your take on this as well. Official as of New York Comic Con last week, although this has been rumored for a long time, and we all have known this for a while. Brian Michael Bendis and Steve McNiven are doing the new relaunched Guardians of the Galaxy book, which I assume will be the lead into the new movie coming out in 2014. I think 3.5 out of the 5 people sitting at this table are not really big Brian Michael Bendis fans. I figure a half because I think Charlie and Toby are probably a quarter each fans, and I think Bryce is a big fan.
Yeah, boy.
So
I love Ultimate Spider-Man still to this day.
Amazing.
Yes.
First 50 some odd issues are fantastic.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
He's just written 200 of them is the problem.
My only sort of issue with Bendis is a really, really simple one.
Avengers Disassembled.
No, I have no problem with Avengers
fine.
Disassembled. I have no problem with the way New Avengers started. I just kind of feel like everything he's written since it's become a arc or two, big event, change everything up, arc or two, big event, change everything up, has kind of taken away from what he was able to do with like Daredevil and other stuff where he could really
not
do
a really good run.
How are we still dealing with frickin' Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and the Kid? It feels like this has been going on forever.
I love Bendis, and I hate those guys. He's got such a hard-on for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones.
He does.
Well,
and Spider-Woman. Don't forget Spider-Woman.
Well, he created Jessica Jones, so that's fine. But it's like this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Spider-Woman. I'm sorry.
Jessica Drew. Yeah, this plot has been going on.
Jessica Drew is a different character, right?
No, that
They're still trying to save the baby, right?
It's like this story's been going on forever, and it just won't end.
I know.
There's the Alias chick.
Yeah,
right?
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And I loved Alias. Alias was good.
Yeah.
I really liked Alias, but I do agree that it really, really shows that he loves these characters and wants to continue that story and has sort of shoved it. Like, that's the one constant through New Avengers.
Yeah.
Everything else has been changed up half a dozen times. Members have been changed up. They've been fugitives. They've been good guys. They've been, And I just, all my favorite stuff from Bendis in terms of the Marvel wheelhouse has been sort of self-contained Daredevil stuff. And even like Ultimate Spider-Man, I think he's done a fantastic job with, but it's because it's sort of like his. And the only time I tend to get there's a few choices he's made along the way that I don't necessarily like, but the only times that I've really kind of felt weird about that book is when they've been pulled into like Ultimatum and stuff like that. So
now, Brock, you're the
Well, what's the original question?
well.
Yeah, that's what we're getting back to.
This isn't a question. This is Guardians of the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis and Steve McNiven.
Oh, that's what
Now,
we're
Brock,
talking about.
Yeah.
huge Guardians fan over the last couple of years. I'm not a big Bendis fan, not a big Marvel fan at this point at all, but you were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen here.
Yeah.
You read the preview in Marvel, the Marvel Now .1.
Is your red face?
What'd you think?
I'm torn.
Okay.
It looks so beautiful.
I tell you why he's torn. He goes, I want to hate it. I want to hate it because it's a Marvel book, but it's Guardians of the Galaxy. What am I going to do? Oh, no.
Actually, it's not. I'm actually torn because the book actually looks good. Like, Steve McNiven's artwork is amazing.
But it reads horribly.
I can't tell because it's kind of an origin story. And that's the other thing that I'm a little cautious of, because with what happened at the end of Guardians and Thanos Imperative, how are you bringing Star-Lord back in? That's something that's in Avengers Assembled? I don't I don't know. So
They're just running around fighting Thanos.
okay, so I don't know how they're going to bring Star-Lord back into.
Have some faith.
Well, if they bring Star-Lord back, why the hell can't they bring Nova back? This stupid kid we don't need. That was horrible. Right after you read
There's a TV
the
show
Guardians,
with a kid in it.
Oh, jeez.
I did read that Nova.
That was
I didn't
horrible.
read it. It was really bad. They even brought back Diamondback, classical Nova
Hey,
villain.
Diamondback.
Yeah, and it was so stupid.
I like Diamondback.
It was so stupid.
It's so bad.
She should be in the Captain America book, though.
No,
if anything
no,
else.
No,
it's
not-
It's the actual diamond,
the big
headed
head,
guy.
the Nova villain with like the big not the Captain America one you're thinking of.
Oh,
She
okay,
was
never
brought
mind.
back in the Captain America book, though.
Yeah, she is back in Captain America though.
Yeah.
She is?
Yeah, she's been back for like the
Excellent.
last arc or two.
But Brubaker's leaving. Horrible.
Yeah, I can't.
A range of emotions.
I see that
no!
cap
Yes!
number 1 solicitation. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. Not with Romita Jr.'s artwork. I can't do it.
Now here's one for Bryce. Bryce, you're Mr. Marvel.
Yes.
Romita Jr., baby. He is Mr. Marvel.
No, that's not fair. You know, this is a loaded question. You know that I hate Romita Jr. and his block fingers and his awful artwork.
His flat faces.
The AVX, all the art got amazing as soon as he stopped drawing it.
Yes.
I will give Cap this. I've seen a couple of the images from the Cap like previews and stuff. I will give it this much: whoever they got to ink his shit,
Klaus Janson.
somehow pulled off making it look somewhat stylized and cool.
I think Klaus
but it's still
Janson-
Romita Jr. and I can't.
Klaus
I can't touch
Janson, who does a lot of the stuff over Frank Miller. He's, I think, maybe inking and coloring. I'm not sure,
He
but
does a lot of stuff over Frank Miller. It means he had lots of practice.
yeah, he's the one that made Frank Miller stuff look good and not look like it looks now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does look better, but it's
But
still
it's still Romita Jr.
It's still Romita Jr. and I'm just not my style. So
I don't know. For being a story guy,
you
I'm
read
used to-
Liefeld books, okay? Let's,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little life.
That's what's funny. There's the difference. Bryce won't read, or you will read Liefeld, but you won't read Romita Jr. You'll read Liefeld and you'll read Romita Jr.
No. It depends who writes Romita Jr. I read it and I just hate myself, but I
You feel dirty.
can't turn away.
yeah,
You feel dirty.
nothing you can do
Like you
about
need
it.
to take a shower. Naughty boy.
I don't know. It's
No.
just reading the solicitation for the story, though, especially after we've had this phenomenal Captain America run.
Yeah, it's
Just
not the same.
yeah, it doesn't read like it's something like. I was just disappointed reading the solicitation for it. I tried to keep an open mind. I'm like, they're doing that.
What are they doing?
They're doing like a I don't remember if it's an alternate universe or timeline or whatnot. I mean, they're basically taking Cap away from the sort of political
Heroes
grounded.
Reborn?
He's just being thrown into some post-apocalyptic future.
Yeah, it's
So it's Cap
Cable.
Reborn too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Cable.
Yeah.
It's like because even like the solicitations shows this little girl with him. I'm like,
Oh,
it's
no.
fucking Cable.
But is he going to be running around in Avengers, or is he going to be out after the first issue? Because like if it's like the first arc is he's out of time, okay, whatever. But if like the whole plot of this book is he's in some weird, crazy
Well,
future,
I don't know what's going on with Marvel, but after reading that Marvel Now .1, they're gonna do stuff with time a lot with this, and it doesn't.
Well, it's okay.
seem
You just
to-
need a blue police box to come and fix it all.
See,
or a DeLorean.
if you're going to bring up the point one more, I will say this. I got very excited for the Young Avengers stuff in it just because it's Young Avengers and I love Young Avengers.
Yes.
And
do you know who's doing the Young Avengers, Toby?
Someone good. Someone I liked.
It's the guys. It's the guys behind Phonogram and
Yes, Jamie McKelvey.
Jamie McKelvey and what's the other guy's name?
I just forgotten for a second. But
Yep.
yes, I'm very excited. I like Jamie McKelvey, and I hate Marvel taking him away from the independent market.
And they also had the preview in there for the Cable and X-Force sort of book, and I really like that as well. So I'm excited. Now, mind you, the other two or
and
three in there,
Kieran
I
Gillen,
wanna
of course,
run away.
is the writer.
Oh.
Who was the writer behind
Cool.
Phonogram and all this stuff.
Oh, so they got the full team.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I'm totally on board then.
Yeah.
Best book ever. Right now. Based on the previous work.
So Brock, Guardians,
Torn.
you gonna pick it up?
I will read it. I will not buy a single issue.
Until
Still a
he
Marvel
reads it.
hater.
No, I think I'll read it, and I'm not going to buy a single issue. but
Until
if
you
it's
read it.
Dicks with me enough, I'll probably buy the trade. 'Cause I don't know.
All we can ask.
I just can't. I can't justify hawking over that much money for a book and then a code I'm never going to use.
And then 5 years from now, you go, "Babe, I need all the single issues because I have to bind them all."
Why? When I have the trades,
They fall apart eventually.
then I'll rebind them.
Fair enough.
You love the Guardians of the Galaxy, and you're not going to hawk out.
Yeah, you're not going to support it.
Just for
I
a couple.
Hey, I'm not buying a Jeff Loeb Ed McGuinness Nova book. Fuck a load of that. No way in hell I'm
See,
buying
this is
that.
me just waiting for somebody to chime in. Well, you buy the book, and I'll pay you $1 every month for the digital code.
I'm still waiting for somebody to offer. I'm waiting. I want to see that happen. I want to see the black market digital.
Don't look
code
at me.
going.
I'm Gambit all the way, man.
So,
There's actually some books I'd be willing to do that with you on, depending on the book.
but we could just do two and two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ed McGuinness and Jeff Loeb
Yeah.
is way different story in terms of like how it looks for a book that you would ordinarily love compared to his love in Guardians of the Galaxy and Bendis. You swear like Bendis is the worst thing in the world. Who's drawing it? I forget what you said.
Steve McNiven.
But you said that it looks
He's great.
beautiful, which
Yeah,
is not the case
is that
with
the
the
Civil
Loeb,
War guy?
Ed McGuinness book.
No, no.
necessarily.
I'm fine with Ed McGuinness. I like Ed McGuinness.
I'm fine with Ed McGuinness.
Jeff Loeb is the worst writer at Marvel.
Yeah.
Especially when he
love
writes Hulk.
Marvel. Totally accurate.
Especially when he writes Hulk.
Well, it's like
Today I will beat him.
I helped sell Spider-Man Blue today and Hulk Gray today. Going, I'm giving you Jeff Loeb titles that are actually good. Hopefully, you don't find his bad stuff.
Oh, he used to be so amazing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And that's actually the, tortured thing about him is I totally want to believe he can get back to amazing. I totally want to believe one of these days I'm going to come across a book of his that I'm going to love again.
No,
But every time I try, it's
I have,
a little more
to the
heartbreaking.
best of my knowledge, every major appearance by Richard Rider as Nova, including the god-awful 90 series by Eric Larsen. That's just the
That was
worst.
like 7-ish, 12
No,
issues?
barely. If it even
it
lasted that
9?
long. Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
The worst.
I have them.
The worst. And I have those.
Yeah, I have those.
This
There are a
shit,
couple of-
no way. Richard Rider is dead. Done.
No, they all have their time in the sun. Chris Claremont was amazing, and then they brought him back after the X-Men movies, and he was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Chris Claremont in his heyday, but
I saw an article somebody
away.
saying they wanted to bring Chris Claremont back now.
Well, there was an article recently saying that he couldn't write anything for DC because he's still under contract at Marvel. He's still technically under contract.
They throw him an X-Men bone every 5 months or every 5 years. He'd be like, hey, write this miniseries that no one will read. And yeah. Dude, you know what you do? You get him and Neil Adams together on a miniseries and just let them go hog wild for as long as they want. And just be like, have at it.
And then we go to Isotope and have everybody drink like a fish and then read the book.
I would probably actually buy that. It would be so horribly
just
abysmal.
have at it, guys. So, terrible. Charlie, am I remember correctly? Did you talk someone out of buying first X-Men this weekend?
Yes, I did.
I mean, I'm totally. I like.
the hell?
I do not like having that money in my store. Like, I'm totally okay with this. Like, did you sell them something else?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I have no problem with this.
That is an awful book.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
Which
It's
one's
just
first?
That's the Neil Adams one.
There's this guy who's been coming in pretty regularly on Sundays, so I have a pretty good rapport with him and stuff. And he's always sort of like catching up on this series. So he went over to X-Men and started grabbing all these different X-Men books to catch up on. And he brought him up to the counter, and I'm looking through, and I'm like, no. Go buy that X-Men book. Put this one back. Don't look at it again.
That's so funny.
It's so bad.
Can't wait
You
to
were
see
never
his
here.
tweet. I went to the comic book store and they actually told me not to buy these books.
Hey, man. If it's people that I have a good rapport with and I know on like a personal nature and they ask me my opinion, or if I'm like, dude, you really don't want to buy this. I mean, I'm not going to clearly tell someone don't buy this, but if they're willing to
There's
listen to
always
the
a
suggestion,
but buy these instead.
yeah, of course. If
Then
you
you'll
really
come
want
back
it,
for more.
I'll gladly take your money, but I don't want you to hate me. I want you to walk out and have a good experience.
Yeah, you know, to be a good drug dealer, you have to have repeat business. If you give them bad drugs, they're not going to come
It's like,
back.
no, that's
Charlie knows all about that from dealing out of his trunk
this-
with the
this-
hero clicks.
This is the shit that I deal the
I'm glad
kids
he
on the
said with the
side.
hero clip.
Yeah, this is the shit I deal the kids on the side. These are the real drugs over here. These are the good stuff. I'll give you the good stuff. So, all right. What else we got here? There's actually a few things. I think Toby, did you want to talk Team 7, number 1? You got a chance to read that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. No, yeah. I had a lot of fun with it. I wish Deathblow was on the team. That's my only gripe. And like Grifter being Grifter.
Well, let's do this. I've never read Team 7.
Yes.
I've never read any of the Team 7 books.
Yes.
Hit me. What is the origin of Team 7? The original Team 7.
Actually, we should have Lane back for this. How about we go 5 issues into Team 7? We bring Lane back because he knows actually far more than I do.
He's a big Wildstorm guy.
Yeah, he's the huge Wildstorm guy. So I think we should definitely get Lane back on this. He was here before.
Yeah,
we had him for like one episode.
He's been on once or twice. Yeah.
We'll do we give it a little bit, and then we'll maybe do maybe a Wildstorm in DC segment or something, and we have Lane go at it because he's really the one that should go at it. I'm a fan of Wildstorm because of Lane, more or less.
We can do this after all the Wildstorm books are canceled.
Hey, no, they will never get canceled. Fuck you, asshole.
No, actually, in general, I'd appreciate that just because there's certain things in Wildstorm I've read, but it's
yeah.
Like, I know Stormwatch and Authority because I read all the Ellis run on that stuff, and I know, like, Planetary that's not been folded in at all. But there's a whole sort of section of Wildstorm that I picked up stuff here and there, but really have no clue the in-depth history.
No, let's do one with Lane, and we'll do it in a couple of weeks or something. Yeah. I think that'd be a better idea than me going halfway in and someone saying you were all wrong. So
I love that you're saying a couple of weeks, but you're saying issue 5, which would be 4 months.
Yeah, well, and Wildstorm continued, it might actually make sense.
3 months if he's counting the 0.
Well, how about let's see what else we
do
got
Red
here.
She-Hulk.
Did you get the Jim Lee cover?
Of which one?
Team 7?
No, Ryan didn't give it to me.
Yeah,
Ryan!
I have a guy that actually pays me money.
Oh shit, motherfucker!
How about Ape? Ape, you were the only one that went to Ape this year.
Yeah, because I'm the only one that actually loves comic books here.
What?
I'm kidding.
What's so
I'm
funny?
kidding. No, it's actually really funny because I want to bring this up.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
So real quick, Ape is the alternative press expo. It's actually owned by Comic-Con, the Comic-Con guys who do San Diego Comic-Con and the, WonderCon, which is once again officially in Anaheim this year. So you guys are the worst.
But supposedly they are contemplating bringing it up here at a later date.
Oh, okay.
In the same year. That's still a rumor out there.
Okay.
And the con going underground information bandwagon, whatever it's called.
Okay. I actually had 2 guys come in on Saturday.
Yes.
This would have been 2 weekends ago, or last weekend, right?
Okay.
Not this previous, but the one before, the weekend of Ape.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, we came out to San Francisco for this comic convention, but
it was so different.
But it was alternative press expo, and it's not a comic convention. There was one guy with back issues, and I'm like." There was a guy with back issues at Ape?
There was actually 2 or 3 guys with back issues.
Really?
Yeah. Which I don't think it's uncommon because I've seen back issue guys in the past there, but they
not Marvel and DC.
No,
back
they had indie, slave labor back issues and whatever,
fine.
A bunch of indie back issues. But I think this year they actually did have DC Marvel back issues.
Really?
Which threw me off. Yeah,
that's really strange because Ape is a very it's big for what it is, but it's a very small comic book convention.
It is definitely alternative press.
Yeah, and we're not even talking Image of Dark Horse. And not even the smaller guys. This is
really small guys.
This is small press. This
is like the backpacker, like the hip hoppers that will record a CD and try and sell it to you off the street while you go to a concert kind of thing.
Like the biggest guys here are Slave Labor and Oni Press. And
if they're even there.
If was Oni even there this year?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
And they'll get guys like
I wish they could get guys like Jeff Smith to come back and stuff like that.
He's been there once or twice. They got I think the Scott Pilgrim guy was there. Brian Lee O'Malley. I think he was there one year.
Well,
they get the guys from Love and Rockets every couple of years. So it's a very small press expo.
It is, which actually is really sad because you know how we call Comic-Con and it's less and less about comic books every year, whether we like it or not. Alternative Press Expo is less and less about indie comics and it's more and more a arts and crafts convention rather than actual storytelling, and stuff like that, which bothers me. So I actually gave the guys more time that actually wrote books. I actually would stop and try to listen to the pitch, and if at all I'm interested, I would actually look through the books. But I would give them actually more time, just because they're still doing kind of what it's supposed to be for.
I have noticed that. Now I haven't gone for a few years, and one of my main reasons for not going is, and this is just a kind of the curse of the small press.
Yeah,
it's one guy who's done one book. And you sell them that same book year after year.
Which at the time when you weren't going, that's a problem, right? So It was actually kind of a different crowd this year. So last year, remember when I came back and I was like, man, it felt like, I don't know if it was, but it felt like a bunch of art students presenting their projects from school, which kind of bugged me because it wasn't like they weren't even trying. It was like, it felt like that's what they did for school. We're going to print out some prints and see if we could sell some of it. This year, it felt like a bunch of professionals from the industry trying to do their own thing. As in, people from video games, people in animation, people just from the industry trying to present their stuff.
They probably were students 2 years ago, and now they're in the industry.
No, not by the way they were looking. Some of them were quite older, so it'd be kind of weirded out if they were students last year or 2 years ago. No, but it definitely felt more polished, more professional, more people trying to actually push their stuff as opposed to, hey, I want to be an artist or I want to get into the industry. So I had a different feel to it this year. Now, on the other hand, I did look forward. So last year, I think I bought this little kind of homemade comic book. I forgot what the title was about, the surfer girl. I was actually really looking forward to seeing the second issue, and I couldn't find her there anymore. I'm like, man, Brittany Lee wasn't there, which I was kind of disappointed with. But they have other things to do, and they go to the big conventions too, so it doesn't bug me. I can see them other places too. Janie Tsai was there, a good friend of mine, so big ups to her, and a bunch of new artists that I went to see, but. Yeah, again, not a whole lot of story. Like last year, I picked up a couple books, so I was able to come back and talk about it.
Yeah.
The one I was almost going to pick up was called 1985, which just because of the time, because it was kind of where I grew up, that time period. I wanted to kind of read it, but, I told myself I would stick to my $20 to $30 rule, so I already spent my $20 to $30 at that point, so sorry, man. I will probably try and find it on the internet and see if I like it there. It was cool, and it was bigger. The girl that did Bumper Boy is back, and it was cool.
It's same place though, right?
Same place. It's getting bigger every year though.
Yeah,
it's getting pushed back further and further into the hall.
Yeah,
so eventually they'll hit actually the full hall, which is going to be kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. But no, I recommend people to go, and hopefully, they'll go back into storytelling, because it is hard for artists sometimes to tell a story. So sometimes it is a team effort where they meet a writer and actually do something together. So it might be hard for an artist to just do their own books, but I hope the form of storytelling is going to come back soon. So
I'm sure it will. And there's always guys selling books, but I think it's just, I did notice that maybe the last year or two I was there. Like you said, kind of lots of arts and craft and prints, and
there's lots of
less.
That,
less comics.
Yeah.
But, let's see. Walking Dead, episode 2, aired last night. I didn't get a chance to see it yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
I'm in moving and packing mode right now, so the odds of me watching anything in the next few weeks is not going to be good. But still amazing numbers last night. Still the biggest show of the week, beating out everything. Beating out The Voice, Big Bang Theory, Modern Family.
It didn't even take number one for the night. Like, The Good Wife got better ratings than it, and Once Upon a Time got better ratings for it. But in terms of viewers, not in terms of sort of like the demographics.
Right.
Well, The Good Wife followed the Giants Cardinals game. I'm not sure if that had
probably.
How are the Giants doing right now?
They're winning 8-0.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Walking Dead. We'll
they got Dish back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was good because a lot of Dish guys have been missing out on all the MC shows. So
are they getting it back with like episode 2 or episode 3? Like, is it like random? It's like, ta-da, we're back on.
They got it back with 2, but didn't really tell anyone.
They literally got it back yesterday, so they didn't really have time to let everybody know and promote it. But from what I understand, they did make episode 1 available online streaming or
That's
something
cool.
like that.
That's cool.
So I'm sure they'll do the same thing with episode 2, since I'm sure they want those viewers.
Yeah. Cool.
Also, Arrow, the new Green Arrow show, officially picked up for a full season, 22 episodes. It had been, I think, just 13 prior.
Yeah, pretty much. Almost any show, especially one that's new, always starts out by getting picked up for 13 episodes.
Especially ones where there's dudes with no shirts on half the time.
And then typically it takes a number of weeks before they pick up the back 9. But Arrow was already getting great ratings for the CW, and it maintained it, so I'm not surprised they just went.
The ratings almost didn't change for the second episode.
I think the second episode was better than the first one.
It got 4.14 million viewers, the most watched telecast of any show on any night in 3 years. That was the premiere number. So, most watched series premieres, it's Vampire Diaries. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, CW shows aren't going to hit the numbers that normally that these big shows, your ABC or NBC shows are hitting.
The way I look at it is CW ratings is very similar to like USA and like typical cable network ratings.
Right.
That seems to be where they need a hit to stay on the air.
Right. I mean, and it's amazing that a show like Walking Dead can hold those numbers.
Oh, it's like, not to downplay this, but I mean, they've had a lot of really popular shows over the years that, I mean, you look at like Monk, you look at Psych, I could sit here naming cable TV shows that have always sold well on DVD, always had strong enough numbers to go multiple years. None of them ever really hit like standard network numbers. I mean, typically a good rating for like a cable TV show, like most of the ones that they talk about, are around like 5 million viewers, 4 million viewers. Most networks are happy with like 2.5 million viewers on a lot of their shows. And then you get something like that, and it's like,
we need that many listeners.
5 million?
Yes.
I'll take it. All right.
Why are you volunteering to go off to podcast? Oh, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Brock. I love you, buddy.
Oh, I think we're done with stuff. So
I'll have to rip up that Nightwing #1.
Oh, no.
We got a little bit of time here, so maybe we'll do a little random quick comic pick of the week.
I think
here.
I just had a mini heart attack.
Do a random pick of the week.
Shock.
Let's.
shock?
Does anyone have a pick they wanna jump out here?
Godzilla!
Oh, this is the new Charlie's been.
Japanese Charlie just came out, man.
Charlie's big on.
He like broke out of his Charlie's chest. Wah! I'm here.
I'm gonna totally butcher the news. Jim Stokoe. Is that it?
I think it's Stoko.
Stoko?
I don't know. I butcher names all day long. That's what I do. But no, it's been a phenomenally great book so far. I mean,
you were correct. Stoko.
Yeah, the art is
James Stoko.
James Stoko. The art, the story. I mean, it's something like every time I read this issue, I'm like, oh my god! When they get to the nice oversized hardcover, and I mean, I bitch and moan about IDW oversized hardcovers price point wise, but yeah, there's no way I'm going to resist this one. At all.
So IDW's been releasing this Godzilla comic for a while. The more recent one, when they started it, I guess it was March 2011, called Godzilla Kingdom of Monsters, was one of the worst books I think I read last year. That book, I was so excited for this new Godzilla comic. The art looked okay. It was so bad. They had all these lame like pop culture references, like
takes on the one that had like the comic book cover variant.
Yeah, which is a great idea, but it had takes on like Lady Gaga and shit like in it. Like, Godzilla steps on Lady Gaga.
Really?
It's so dumb.
I kind of want to see that.
And like a fake President Obama, and it was so bad. It was so bad.
That's where you get to this book. Well, Half Century War by like it's awesome.
Yeah, well, they had this miniseries called Gangsters and Goliath, I think it was called, that came out around the same time.
Is it Gangsters versus Godzilla?
Yeah, well,
I kind of want to read that. Where's that book?
It is a bunch of gangsters that they basically go out into the ocean to dump this guy and throw his body into the ocean, and they kind of get randomly gets side thrown onto the boat gets thrown onto Monster Island, and so they're like, oh shit, we have to escape from all these crazy monsters that are on Monster Island, and like the good quote unquote gangster guy like gets control of Mothra and like. Because like Mothra's in the little box and like using it to like to go basically destroy all the gangsters, like the real bad gangsters back in Tokyo.
I'm losing brain cells right now. Stop.
Dude,
this is awesome.
Godzilla's amazing. What are you talking about?
No, the stories you're talking
dogs
about.
versus Godzilla.
Oh, it's so good.
I get that video game.
This new one, this Half Century War, is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
James Stoko, who's the artist behind Orkstain, right? Yeah. Orkstain, which is an amazingly crazy fantasy series from Image Comics.
I also suggest that.
Yeah, Orkstain's great. His take on Godzilla, oh my god, it is incredible.
And the story and everything is just...
Well, what's great about it, now correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's just sort of this one guy as he lives his life through all the Godzilla movies happening like through the time they are.
I don't know the Godzilla. Like it's been forever since I've watched any of the Godzilla movies. So I've sort of been told that's the case, but I can't like. It would be neat to go back and watch those now to get sort of the places. But no, it's a guy who basically, when Godzilla first shows up, he's just a member of the military.
He's a kid. He's like 18, right?
Well, or like a freshly enlisted kind of kid. And he pretty much survives a Godzilla attack. It's Godzilla. You can't stop Godzilla. So he just basically survives it. And then he gets recruited by an organization that's all about trying to not necessarily contain, but try out new weaponry that might have a chance of harming Godzilla. And as it sort of goes through, it's just been really, really good, especially with the way the characters interact, especially for something that travels and focuses around the character who basically can't catch a break when trying to catch Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's been really good. I've liked it a lot. And I can't say enough about the art because they've introduced like the other monsters at this point. I mean, you've seen a lot of the different Godzilla monsters, and they're all beautiful. It's all
this guy, for anyone that knows Jeff Darrow, the artist, very similar style to him, just super detailed, lots of crazy line work, lots of crazy rubble and bumps on everything, and just amazing art. Yeah, that was actually the background. That opening page shot from the first issue was our background on my computer here for like a year. When the first time I saw it, I was like, this is amazing. It's so good. All right. Anyone else got a pick? Got a pick here? Brock?
Huh? What?
Sorry, we're talking about
I fell asleep.
Things that don't exist in the middle of the United States.
What? Godzilla in the Midwest? He'd just fall in the Grand Canyon.
You have something. You've been catching up on a bunch of trades recently.
Yeah, I have. I haven't gotten up on, well...
Come on, give it some Jonah Hex love.
Jonah Hex love. Well, I've been attempting to read the Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray Jonah Hex series that came out before the New 52 was relaunched, because I really have been enjoying All-Star Western. And, of course, when I try and get into the trades, that's when they OOP them. So I have most of them coming. I think I need to find, like, the third volume. But really good stories. Art's amazing on it. It's different artists rotate through, but the stories are intense, vicious. Like, I was never really a big Western fan, but reading like All-Star Western and this Jonah Hex series, man, those are some good stories.
Yeah.
So,
and especially the previous Jonah Hex run was a lot of like one-off comics. Mm-hmm. They're not like these big overall story arcs that you kind of have now with All-Star Western. But yeah, each one was just really a satisfying tale and stuff, and it all has those little twists and dark takes on stuff.
Like when the movie came out and you said that it was a great pilot for a TV show, like I literally am like reading it going, these just make this TV show right here. Boom, done.
Well, they also did the Jonah Hex like DC showcase on one of the direct-to-videos. Mm-hmm. I don't remember which one that was for, but that was also written by Palmiotti.
See, AMC could just pick up Jonah Hex and it falls right into their westerns.
I'd be down with that.
Actually, that would be a very good fit for Jonah Hex, especially with how much they're letting like The Walking Dead do. Yeah, just let him go nuts on.
Put 100 bullets on FX.
That's what they want you to do, or that's...
No, I want them.
Oh, you want them to?
I think actually Showtime is talking to them, though.
Yeah. I've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
Bryce, you got something you want to throw at us?
Come on, give us some Marvel less love.
I want some Marvelful love. You know what I actually loved was...
What was that?
Consequences. I thought that so let me just...
That's the one with
the
Cyclops
AVX
as the fly.
Consequences.
The Fly.
Yeah, Cyclops with the big giant helmet that makes him look like a fly.
Apparently not looking like a penis. So I don't know if you guys remember Prelude to Schism, possibly the worst book, the worst 5 issues.
We hear from this guy all the fucking time.
Prelude to Schism was horrible, and Schism would be even
Schism
worse.
was like, I didn't like Schism, and Prelude to Schism was just like, really, that was a book.
Wait, recommendation.
So I was thinking that Consequences would be similarly bad, sort of on the other side of that. But it was actually sort of refreshing that it wasn't bad. The art was better than I thought that it would be. It was very much unlike... What was the 12-issue thing after...
I love that it wasn't bad. Is your ringing endorsement?
Marvel full love?
I just love that it was not as bad as I thought it would be, suggesting it's still bad.
No, I bet that there's a lot of people out there that didn't buy it because they thought, oh, this is just going to be like the Fallen or whatever that 12-issue arc was after
Fearless.
The Fearless, yeah, or Prelude to Schism or some other crappy miniseries. But it's actually, I'm a week behind. I've only read issue number 1, but the art is better than I thought, and it's actually a much better story than I thought, and I'm liking where they're going with Cyclops.
Cool.
I guess my only issue with that is Fearless at least kind of had a point. It kind of had the overall story arc it was trying to go for. I'm not saying it was a good story arc. I didn't get that many issues into it.
I was going to say, I got one issue in, and I'm like, nope.
But in terms of consequences, I guess the only thing that's kind of off-putting me a little is, so they have all this stuff going on with Cyclops in that book, but then they have stuff with Cyclops in like one of the X-Men books and the Uncanny Avengers. Like it kind of feels a little disjointed.
Beating a dead horse.
Because it's almost like anybody who wants to visit Cyclops can go visit Cyclops.
Yeah, fair play.
Actually, they're taking donations for the rebuilding, so you can pay your fee and go see Cyclops with its engorged penis head.
Toby, you been reading anything?
Everybody, tomorrow, go to appletrailers.com and watch the Iron Man fucking 3 trailer.
We didn't talk about this. Iron Man 3 teaser trailer. The teaser for the trailer. Yeah,
the trailer for the trailer.
2 trailers for the trailer.
Which
I hate.
Still to this day, the best one is for Expandable 2. Just go watch it because it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, trailer for trailers.
So I gotta watch 2 trailers for this trailer?
There's a trailer and a trailer, and then you watch the actual trailer, and then you go watch the movie. Actually, no, then probably go watch 3 more trailers.
So let me get this straight. I have to watch a tease trailer for the teaser to the actual trailer.
It's the equivalent of...
So by the end, if you watch all the trailers, you could cut together the movie itself.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think it's 8 seconds of film and 10 seconds of black screen as it cuts between shots.
Yeah. Oh, so it's the Star Wars?
It's
Yeah. I can do it by memory. Boom! It's Tony Stark walking with a bunch of people around. Boom! It's Pepper Potts falling and screaming. Boom! There's Iron Man fucking landing with a bunch of Iron Mans around him for some reason. But maybe I wasn't remembering correctly. But anyways, go on.
I think you're remembering the second one.
No.
He's talking about the first teaser.
So I'll have to watch these tonight, and then tomorrow.
It's like 10 a.m. or something.
I guess so.
9 a.m.
It's just
Pacific Standard Time?
Oh, no, it's just fucking tomorrow.
That's okay. When it's available, Toby will just send me a link. And
yes, I will not be... Actually, yeah, I will not be working. I'll be just telling everybody, watch the fucking trailer, and I will download it on a high definition, so I'll watch it frame for frame.
Well, last week I spent some time and caught up with the book series that I know Toby and Charlie are both big fans of, and I've fallen a little bit behind, but that was the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series from IDW.
Oh, fuck yeah. It's
which
awesome.
I finally caught up on.
Yes, it's about damn time.
Yeah, I felt like 5 or 6 issues back on both of the series. And
the new TV show is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, really?
I actually quite enjoy it.
Is that the one with their aliens? Whatever happened with that?
No, that was the supposed
all right, let's
movie.
Clear this motherfucker up. There were never going to be aliens, all right? The ooze originally came from, alien origin anyways.
God, jizz.
And that's what they were going to do with it. So there were never going to be alien turtles.
It doesn't matter. Let's ignore it. It doesn't exist right now. It's not even being filmed.
My turtles.
You touched a vein. That's what you touched.
One of the things that I actually like about the series, the main Turtle series, while being really cool, I don't know that I like the micro series more, but I was surprised at how much I like these. So they basically have the main series going, and interwoven kind of in between issues, they have an issue of a micro series, which is a one-shot series that comes out every month in between the next issue, and it kind of ties in a solo tale of one of the characters back and forth as they go to whatever the next plot is. And in the case of the Casey Jones one, very heavily ties into the issue, almost to the point of I don't know how they're going to get around not putting that issue into the trade paperback, because it is very much goes to that, maybe, and then goes back. So, but good book. It's
an excellent book.
We've talked about this a few times on the show, but now that I'm all caught up, I can definitely also recommend it if you've liked the Turtles at all, or even and this is the pitch I've used for a lot of people, if you just like what DC did with the New 52 and just try to take the continuity but do something different with it, modernize it, change it up a little bit, but then let it go.
Which is what I told everybody when we first started this.
Yeah, you're dead on.
It was kind of, they got the same notes. It's like they started with DC.
Yeah. And I really like what they've been doing with Shredder and Splinter. It's a cool dynamic that I don't think we've seen quite the same level of before. So, I mean, my knowledge of the original Turtle series doesn't extend much past maybe the first 10 issues. I mean, I never really read too many of them. I know they did a bunch of weird
Charlie
stuff.
read them so many times that the books were falling apart. And the reason why I know it, because I still have Charlie's books.
The first handful of issues?
Like the original trades.
Yeah.
I was one of those, like, it's kind of weird. I still remember buying those trades at Costco or Price Club or whatever it was at the time when Turtles was really hot, and they had the 4 big, oversized...
No, it wasn't Costco. You bought them when it was Price Club.
I know. Costco or Price Club, whatever. I remember buying them there with their big pallets filled with stacks of them, and yeah, I read those things constantly for a while.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Bryce?
Can I give one last Marvel shout out?
Sure.
Sure.
Can I do something that I actually
I can call it crap
rather than
again?
it wasn't just bad?
We'll have you on next week maybe again, but sure. Go, let it hit me.
I loved, and this is again a week behind, but what Jason Aaron is doing with Wolverine and the X-Men, I know they're about to change it all. But he's doing, I think, a great job, and especially when he introduced the new the preteen Hellfire Club. I was like, "Are you kidding, bro?" But he's keeping it going, and he's just building that out. And
hold
I'm
on.
loving
See, all the way we saw it, we all looked at Brock.
Yeah, Brock's like, bleh. So can I? This is actually a massive spoiler for the book, which apparently
I didn't want to say that out loud, but that was crazy.
Which apparently may not actually be the end of this story because this character is shown up on covers for future issues. So we'll see. But massive spoilers for Wolverine and the X-Men. So if you haven't read it, I suggest reading it now. Number 18. But after the love I had for Jason Aaron after the Dupe issue...
another amazing issue.
Massive hate for Jason Aaron after killing one of the best characters in that book.
He's a great character.
In a super sad issue.
Sad. Yeah.
Yes.
Where they kill Brew, the little Brew kid, Brood kid, by the Hellfire Club. Like, that was... That hurt.
That hurt, but
did you cry?
At the same time,
it was pretty sad.
That's kind of the sign of good writing, is if you get attached to the character.
Oh, totally.
Well, because you don't really see him. You never really saw Brew just... That's his name, right? Brew, right?
Yeah.
That's what they call him,
Brew,
right? Okay.
yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was Boo, but I'm like, no, it's Brew.
No,
Brew.
Boo.
It's Brew. BROO.
That's from Monsters Inc.
Yeah. I mean, when he just goes kind of savage and rips that, like, he just thinks it's a human, but it's like a robot, apart. And it was like, ooh, you don't see that side too often. But he's a brood. Like, he's a mutant brood.
Yeah.
And then that was just fantastic. Yeah. And then he gets
so good.
Then he gets blue beetled. All right. So. Yeah.
Shot in the head?
Yeah.
I just cared so much more.
Yeah. So even if he doesn't come back, I mean, if he comes back, whatever. If he doesn't, I'm okay with it.
You know what's going to happen? Resco's going to get a hold of him and take out his brain.
He might. He doesn't have much of a brain left. It's all over the floor.
It was all over the floor. And the art's not bad too. So.
Yeah.
And what they're doing with Edie, they're developing Edie. Anyway, I really loved how they're developing the Hellfire Club to actually for us to care about now.
Gosh, she's horrible.
Who? Edie?
Yeah. She like totally dumps him and goes off with Quentin Quire.
Yeah.
Well,
in
after
one
she
issue,
gets
she's been
brainwashed.
I'm just really enjoying Brock is looking back and forth, no idea what's going on. It's because you don't read the books.
Yeah, because it sounds like an episode of Glee.
Did I miss her getting brainwashed?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it only happened this issue. Like, all of a sudden, she's been being brainwashed.
That was the whole thing about her going to that church and then coming back different.
Yeah, but it's only been happening.
And that's why Brew went to the church.
By the way, you can't watch or you can't read Consequences afterwards because she's sitting next to Quire in the jet. That part doesn't make sense. I'll have to find out how to bind those cleverly. But
okay, no, wait, you're okay. No, you're right. I was wondering, like, why was she like that? Okay, but that makes sense now.
Yeah,
okay,
it's just one issue.
Okay, dude, I love Quentin Quire too. Grant Morrison. So yeah, all right, good, very good pick there. That's a great book.
Yeah.
Wolverine and the X-Men is one of my favorite Marvel books the last year and a half or so. Dude, he's a mutant brood. Just get with the program, Brock.
I know who
it's
he
awesome.
is.
Not anymore.
Awesome.
The
Well,
went out.
No, he's not a mutant brood. He's just a smear across the wall.
yeah.
You know who can pick up the brain, Mrs. Sinister? 1, 2.
Ant?
He's put it back
Bryce,
together.
you didn't read Uncanny X-Men this week then, huh? So no more Sinister talk. Go read your Uncanny X-Men. We'll talk about that next week.
What does that
I think he
mean?
just pissed himself.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
You know, Mr.
You'll find out.
You'll find
I
out.
know who he is. I'm just saying I'm a week behind.
Yeah, I know.
Good job.
Yeah, you'll find out. You'll find out. No spoilers.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go now. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want to find this episode and all our other episodes, actually, this is something I do need to point out because I've had a few people ask about this. If you want to find this episode and every other episode back to episode number 1, go to www.geekbox.net. If you want to find the last 50 episodes, iTunes only has, apparently, the last 50 episodes of podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for every podcast.
You announced this like a few months ago.
Yes.
Have I?
Yeah.
I get questions about this all the time. Where are our first episodes? I've known this, but I don't think I don't remember talking about it. But
you haven't talked about it in probably the past 10 or 15.
Yeah.
Well, you
but-
probably have to just bring it up every couple
It
of
was
Okay.
about 50 episodes when you
Well-
last mentioned it.
well, I don't remember this at all. So apparently I mentioned this.
It was an episode that I can't listen to anymore.
Apparently I mentioned this at some point, but I have no recollection of it. But well, maybe if you heard that episode, you'll know what I'm about to say. But go to iTunes and download the last 50. But if you want the rest, go to the website geekbox.net or comicsconspiracy.biz, where you can find all our episodes back to all the way to episode number 1. Just to download it, throw it on your iPod or whatever, and you're good to go. If you want to talk to any of us on Twitter, we're all on there. Ryan Higgins, Ryan. Brock Sager. Toby XI is Toby. Insanity and Chaos is Charlie. Brock's giving me the eyeball.
I'm waiting for it.
Comics and Decline is Omar.
Oh, he didn't roll his eyes. I'm sorry. He didn't roll his eyes, Toby. I'm
We're
sorry.
waiting.
Bryce, not a Twitter guy.
He just doesn't
but,
like me. That's all.
Not yet.
He likes
So
likes
just
Omar.
send your questions to Ryan, and then Ryan will ask Bryce when he comes
Yeah,
to
There
the
you go.
shop.
Of course,
All right,
of course.
yeah.
But we conned all these other people into getting Twitter accounts, so we'll get you on. We'll get you on the
Get me
Twitter.
Just ask Ryan.
We'll get you on the Twitter.
Then you can like
I kind of like this Ask Ryan
you
thing.
can
we
tweet
do that
your
for everybody?
HeroClix buddies.
Hey Ryan, can you ask blah blah about blah blah?
If you, we have many digital comic books that you can buy through our store, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. I do recommend everyone, because I get a lot of questions about this as well, and I usually post it on our Twitter account. Mondays, Marvel always has a big sale. And generally over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's some sort of big sale going on. Normally DC has a sale. Marvel will do some sort of event. IDW or Boom or some of the independent companies will have some sort of themed event. This last weekend was... What was this last weekend? There was some... Oh, Transmetropolitan. Every issue, 99 cents. 60 issues, $60. Can't beat that. Actually, less than that because they're only 99 cents. So I highly recommend checking out that feed, either my Twitter feed or check out Comixology over the weekend to get those cheap sales because if you like the digital books. And again, I've had people ask, and I usually mention this, but in case you don't know, when you purchase books through our digital storefront, the store actually gets money. So that's awesome. You can help support us even if you are not local and buying physical comics through the store. It's not as much as if you bought comics, but every little bit helps, and we appreciate the extra effort you take in using that program on our site. Or you can just go direct, which is digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. What else we got? I don't know. We got anything? ConspiratorBrock.com. It's Brock's blog. Comics and Decline. That is .com. That's Omar's website. The Infinite Long Box. Charlie's podcast. I almost said that's Toby's podcast. Toby doesn't have another podcast.
That's okay. Everybody wants to be on my podcast.
I'll
Nice.
do a podcast.
Talk
in riddles.
Anything else? Listen to our other podcasts, The Geekbox, Good Job Brain, The Comedy Button, and All Talk, the All Talk podcast. They were actually doing a horror box through the month of October. I think 4 episodes on horror movie podcast, kind of tied in with the All Talk podcast. So check that out.
Maybe I have to call in.
If you're a horror movie fan, they're talking about some classic 80s horror and some current stuff. So it's good stuff.
Maybe they should know. I work with Freddy. I work with
Yeah. Just
Kane
get on there and talk
Hodder.
to them.
Kane Hodder,
Just get on there and talk to them.
Danielle Harris.
All right. Any other questions? You can email us at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net, and we can read those on there as well as hit us up on Twitter on Monday nights. We'll take some questions. All right. We'll catch everyone next week.